Hey everybody, the Culinary Shut-In here. This is my second recipe video, and this is a recipe that is probably the most requested recipe that I have. I started making these cookies, these triple chocolate brownie toffee cookies, about 9 years ago, and they were a result of a trip that my friend Nancy and I were making to visit our sons in college. We had stopped at Harris Ranch, and they had this most delicious chocolate toffee cookie. It was crispy on the outside and chocolatey in the middle and chewy, and just my favorite kind of all-around cookie. They didn't offer the recipe, and so I became obsessed with trying to recreate it. And it ended up being fairly easy. So this recipe is the most requested recipe. It's also so incredibly easy. It's basically a recipe hack. So let me go through this with you. I hope you enjoy these cookies. Let's get going. This is a 5-ingredient recipe. Triple chocolate brownie mix, the Ghirardelli one that you get at Costco, Heath bits, eggs, water, and Wesson oil. And that's it. To simplify it even further, basically you're using 3 packets of the mix, but the wet ingredients for 2 packets. Really easy. And then you add Heath bits. So let me show you how I do it, and we'll go from there. So it's quite a thick mixture. I use my large KitchenAid stand mixer to mix this because I couldn't possibly do it by hand. So we have 3 packets of the Ghirardelli brownie mix in the mixer, and to that we are going to add 2/3 of a cup of oil. So we're going to pour that in and scrape it out to make sure we get all of the goodness from it. And next we're going to add 2/3 a cup of water. I add it right in the same cup because that way I get the remaining oil as well. Finally, to that mixture we're going to add 2 whole eggs. I use large eggs. Just throw those in, and then we'll kit up this mixer so that we can get this batter stirred up. I cannot stir this batter by hand. It's a very thick, stiff batter. So the KitchenAid on a slow speed comes in very handy. Now, as I mentioned, this recipe is, basically kind of like that cooking show semi-homemade. It's a very delicious recipe, but it's very simple. And you can see as we're mixing it that it's a very thick batter. So once you get the batter really thoroughly mixed, you're going to take the Heath bits and you're going to pour that in, kind of drizzle them into the batter while the mixer's still on the slowest speed. Make sure that those get all mixed in thoroughly, and now you're going to be ready to bake some cookies. Once again, you can see here that this is an extremely thick batter. It has very little give. I use a cookie scoop to make it easier to get the batter onto the cookie sheet. Something that's important to note is this is the small cookie scoop, but I make a very round scoop. Otherwise, your cookie will be too small and it will be too crisp after you bake it. So let's load up a cookie sheet with some batter because we've got 72 cookies to bake, and that's going to take us a little bit of time. So right after we get these on the cookie sheet, we're going to pop them in the oven. So we're baking these cookies in a 350-degree oven. My oven, it takes 15 minutes. Your oven may vary, but you'll know they're done because they kind of open up and have kind of a crater-like appearance. The recipe makes a tremendous amount of cookies. I mentioned before that it makes 72 cookies in all. My husband and I cannot eat 72 cookies, so we save them for our grandchildren. We like to have some in the freezer when they come over. Basically, I create packages of 18 cookies. I'll typically have 4 packages in the freezer, and I just put those in a Ziploc bag and date them. And, it's important to note these cookies are as delicious coming out of the freezer as they are when they went in. They store beautifully. So that is Grammy K's triple chocolate toffee brownie cookies. I hope you enjoy them. I hope you enjoy how simple they are to make. Right now, I think Costco is out of the triple chocolate brownie mix, but that's definitely a staple you should keep at home because these cookies are so simple to make. If you enjoyed this video and would like to have the recipe or see some of the other recipes that I'll be posting, please check out my blog at theculinaryshutin.com. Thanks for joining. Talk to you later.